Have you ever felt confused because the word get seems to be everywhere in English? Today, we are going to unlock the secrets of this tiny but powerful word and show you how to use it just like a native speaker. Hey everyone, welcome back to Go Slow English. I'm really happy you're here today. I'm Zara.
And I'm Leo. Hey Zara, and hello to all our friends watching from different places around the world. Oh wow, it's so good to see you again. I am really looking forward to today's lesson because the topic is something I hear students struggle with all the time.
I agree, Leo. But before we dive into the lesson, I have to ask you, how was your morning? How easy was it for you to get to the office this morning? I heard the traffic was really hectic out there.
Oh, Zara, you wouldn't believe it. It was so difficult to get here. I usually leave my house at 7, but today I got a bit of a late start. Then, as soon as I hit the main road, everything just stopped. It took me nearly an hour to get through the city center. I was starting to get a little worried that I would be late for our recording session.
I am so glad you made it. I actually had a similar experience. I tried to get a taxi, but they were all busy because of the rain. I eventually had to get the bus, which was very crowded. But hey, we both got here in the end. And did you notice, Leo? We just used the word get so many times in that short conversation.
That's a great point. We really did. I said, get to the office, got a late start, get through the city, and get worried. It really is a universal word. That is exactly why we are focusing on it today. It is probably the most used verb in the English language because it has so many different meanings.
Exactly. Think of the word get as a chameleon. You know, that lizard that changes its color to match its surroundings? Get changes its meaning based on the words that come after it. Today, we are going to look at 5 or 6 of the most common ways you can use it. This will help our listeners sound much more natural when they speak.
I love that analogy of a chameleon. It is very fitting. So where should we start? What is the first major way we use get in everyday English?
The first and perhaps most common way we use get is to mean receive, obtain, or buy. For example, if it is your birthday, you might get many presents. Or if you are at work, you might get an email from your boss. It's a very simple replacement for receive. Does that make sense?
It does. It sounds much more casual than saying, I received an email. In daily life, we almost always say, I got an email. Or if I am at a shop, I might say, I need to get some milk. In that case, I am using get instead of the word buy. It is much more common to hear someone say, I got a new phone than I purchased a new phone, right?
Exactly. Using buy or receive is perfectly correct, but it can sound a bit formal. If you want to sound more relaxed, get is your best friend. For instance, I got a new book yesterday. I didn't say I obtained a new book, even though that is technically what happened. It's all about the context. Now, moving on to something else that's really interesting, the second way we use get is to describe a change of state. We use it with adjectives.
Ah, like when I said I was getting worried about being late, I was changing from being calm to being worried.
Perfect example, Leo. When you use get with an adjective, it means to become. So if you are outside and it starts to rain, you get wet. If you don't eat all day, you get hungry. If the sun goes down, it gets dark. It's all about the process of changing from one condition to another.
That is so useful. I often hear people say, it's becoming cold, which is fine, but it's getting cold sounds so much more like a native speaker. I use this one a lot when I talk about my feelings too. For example, if I'm watching a long movie that isn't very exciting, I might say, I'm getting bored. It describes that feeling of slowly losing interest.
I never thought of it that way, but you're right. It's often used for emotions. You can get angry, get excited, or get confused. Speaking of being confused, let's talk about the third way we use get, which is to mean arrive. We touched on this during our chat about the traffic. I asked you how you got to the office.
Right. Get plus a place means arrive at that place. So get home, get to work, get to the station. One thing for our listeners to remember is that we usually use to after get, except for the word home. We don't say get to home, we just say get home. That's a little rule that catches people out sometimes.
That is a great point, Leo. Thank you for mentioning that. I always tell my students to think of get as the journey's end. When will you get to the party means when will you arrive at the party. It's much more common than saying arrive. If I'm on the phone with my mom, I'll say, I'll call you when I get home. It sounds very natural.
I agree. Now, Zara, what about get when it means understand? I hear that all the time in movies. Someone says, I get it, or I don't get it. Is that the same get we're talking about?
It is. That is our fourth meaning. In informal English, get often means understand. So, if I explain a difficult grammar rule to you and you understand it, you can simply say, I get it. Or if someone tells a joke and you don't think it's funny because you don't understand the punchline, you could say, I don't get the joke.
I love that one. It's so short and efficient. It's much faster than saying, I understand the concept you are explaining. Just a simple got it works wonders. It shows the other person that you are following the conversation. I use got it as a response all the time when someone gives me directions or instructions.
Precisely. It shows a level of fluency and comfort with the language. Now, let's move on to the fifth use, which is to fetch or to bring. Imagine you are sitting on the sofa and you are thirsty. You might ask someone, can you get me a glass of water? In this case, get means to go to the kitchen, find a glass, fill it with water, and bring it back.
Oh, that is a very common one too. My kids always ask me to get their toys from under the sofa. It implies the whole action of going to find something and bringing it back to the person who asked. It saves a lot of words. Instead of saying, go and find my shoes and bring them here, I just say, get my shoes.
Exactly. It's efficient. And finally, we should briefly mention get in phrasal verbs. This is a bit more advanced, but it's important. Phrasal verbs are when get is combined with a preposition like up, on, off, or over. For example, every morning, what is the first thing you do? You get up out of bed.
Yes, and then I get on the bus to go to work. And when the bus stops, I get off the bus. These are so common. There is also get along, which means to have a good relationship with someone. For example, Zara, I think you and I get along very well, don't we?
We certainly do. And that makes our work so much easier. There is also get over, which means to recover from something like a cold or a breakup. I finally got over my flu. There are hundreds of these phrasal verbs, but get up, get on, get off, and get along are definitely some of the most useful ones to start with.
Wow, we have covered a lot today. Let's do a very quick summary for our friends watching. We have get meaning to receive or buy, get meaning to become a certain way, get meaning to arrive at a place, get meaning to understand, and get meaning to fetch something. And of course, those handy phrasal verbs.
That is a perfect summary, Leo. It might seem like a lot to remember, but the best way to learn is to listen for it. When you watch a movie or listen to a podcast, try to notice every time someone says get. You will see that once you start looking for it, you will see it everywhere.
That's very true. Don't try to memorize them all at once. Just pick one or two meanings and try to use them in your own sentences this week. Maybe start with get home or get an email. Small steps lead to big improvements.
I couldn't agree more. Learning English is a journey, and you are all doing a fantastic job. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. That is how we all learn. Just keep practicing, keep listening, and you will get better every single day.
Well said, Zara. It has been a pleasure discussing this with you today. I think I've even learned a few new ways to explain it to my own students.
I'm so glad to hear that. And to everyone at home, thank you so much for spending your time with us. It really means a lot that you are part of our Go Slow English community.
Yes, thank you everyone. We really value your support. We hope this lesson helps you feel more confident the next time you use the word get.
Thank you so much for joining us on Go Slow English. We hope you found this deep dive into the word get helpful. Remember, language learning is a marathon, not a sprint. Take your time, be patient with yourself, and most importantly, have fun with it. We'll see you in the next episode. Happy learning!